Hello YouTube. This is the Rocket Fin jig I just finished up yesterday. I'm gluing up my first body tube and fins here in this jig, and I needed to video this to mark this momentous occasion. Hello YouTube. This is my Rocket Fin jig I finished up yesterday, and I wanted to video this momentous occasion. This jig has been it's been an idea rolling around in my head for 40 years. No kidding, 40 years. I remember sitting at my mother's kitchen table, propping up her soup cans, trying to hold my rocket fins in place while they glue. And here I am 40 years later in my garage, using my paint cans to prop up my rocket fins till they glue. I had to stop. This jig had to be built. I waited 40 years. Hasn't nobody come out with a jig yet that's going to do what we need it to do, so I built one. I haven't taken it out of the jig yet. I glued it up yesterday. It's been curing there for 24 hours. It was simple to build. It's all wood. I started building one out of steel and changed my mind, went to aluminum. Started that one and then thought, you know, not everybody can weld aluminum, so if I'm going to build a jig that we can all use, you know, why not just scrap this whole idea. Hello YouTube. This is my Rocket Fin jig. I just finished it up yesterday. I glued up my first rocket here. Hello YouTube. This is my Rocket Fin jig. I finished it up yesterday and I'm just now gluing together my first rocket. Actually, I glued it together last night. It's ready to come out of the jig, and I had to video this momentous occasion. This has been an idea that's been rolling around in my head for 40 years. No kidding, 40 years. I remember being a kid, 10 years old, sitting at my mother's kitchen table, propping up soup cans, trying to hold my fins in place while I glued them. Here I am in my garage 40 years later, propping up my paint cans to hold my fins in place so I can glue them. I had to build a jig, and I did. There's a lot of jigs out there that are pretty much worthless. You've seen them. They're plastic. Some styrofoam ones. Cardboard. I checked out some homemade ones on YouTube. I checked out the guillotine. None of these, in my opinion, were doing what I wanted this jig to do. I don't think we're asking for a whole lot. Index the fin to the tube in the proper spot. Any size tube, any size fin. And make it stand up straight and plumb, perpendicular to the rocket, and obviously square. It's not asking a whole lot, but evidently nobody's going to make one for us, so I just went ahead and made one. It was really easy to do. It's plywood, a few body tube Hello YouTube. This is my Rocket Fin jig I just finished up yesterday. I'm gluing up my first rocket right now. This is a momentous occasion for me. This is an idea that's been rolling around in my head for probably 40 years. No kidding, 40 years. Finally got around to it, huh? I'm quick. Anyway, I can remember being 10 years old, sitting at my mother's kitchen table, using her soup cans to prop up my fins so they glue in place. And now it's 40 years later and I'm in my garage propping up my paint cans to hold my fins in place so I can glue them. I had to build a jig, and I did. And this is what I come up with. There's a lot of jigs out there. No real good ones in my opinion. There's cardboard and plastic and styrofoam. There's a lot of homemade ones. I checked out the guillotine on YouTube, And at best these are a helping hand, but they're not really doing what we need a rocket fin jig to do, which is index any fin to any tube, stand it up straight and plumb, parallel with the rocket tube, and be square and perpendicular to the rocket tube. So I built one, and I'm fixing to take this thing out of the jig, and you're going to see for the first time what I'm going to see. I'm 99% sure that that rocket's going to come out of that jig with the fins being 99% accurate. It's simple math, simple geometry. It can't be wrong. You draw a perfect circle with a perfect center, and you make some perfect 90-degree cuts, and you glue it together perfectly at a 90-degree angle. You can't be wrong. You can't go wrong. 1 + 1 is always going to equal 2. This is a waste of my time. Hello YouTube. This is my rocket fin jig. I finished up last night, and I'm gluing up my first set of fins. It's been about 24 hours, so they should be dry. This thing's ready to come out of the jig. I had to video this because this is a momentous occasion for me. This idea has been rolling around in my head for 40 years. Man, no kidding, 40 years. Finally got around to doing it. I'm quick, huh? Anyway, I can remember being 10 years old, sitting at my mother's kitchen table, building my first rocket, stacking up her soup cans to hold my fins in place while they glued. Now it's 40 years later, I'm in my garage, stacking up my paint cans to hold my fins in place while they glue. I had to build a jig. That's what I come up with. There's a lot of jigs out there, nothing really fantastic in my opinion. Some styrofoam ones, plastic, cardboard. I've seen some homemade ones headed in the right direction but not finished. I checked out the guillotine, helping hand at best. Good attempt. And it serves its purpose, but it's not exactly what I think we're all looking for in a jig. We need a jig that's going to center any fin on any rocket, index it in its proper spot, make it stand up plumb and true, parallel with the rocket tube, and be on there nice and square. I'm ready to take that rocket out of the jig. I'm kind of excited to see how it turned out. I'm 99% sure it's going to turn out exactly like I expect, because to lay it all out, it's simple geometry, simple math. Draw a perfect circle with a perfect center. Hello YouTube. Well, there's hello YouTube. This is my rocket fin jig. I just finished up last night and glued up my first set of fins. It's been 24 hours. It's ready to come out of the jig. And I needed to record this because this is a momentous occasion for me. It's been an idea that's been rolling around in my head for 40 years. Yeah, no kidding, right? I'm quick. But I could remember being a kid, 10 years old, building my first rockets, sitting at my mother's kitchen table, stacking up her soup cans, trying to hold my fins in place while I'm gluing them on. Now it's 40 years later, I'm in my garage stacking up my paint cans, trying to hold my fins in place while I glue them on. I had to build a jig, and that's it. There's a lot of jigs out there, plastic ones, styrofoam ones, cardboard ones. I checked out a few homemade ones, checked out the guillotine on YouTube, and they're not quite exactly what I'm looking for, or any of us are looking for that matter. We needed a jig that's going to index that tube automatically, put that fin in its proper place, all four, all evenly spaced from each other, all standing up nice, true and plumb, parallel with the rocket tube, and above all square. And I think I did that. I'm about ready to take this out of the jig and see how good it really is. Hello YouTube. This is my Rocket Fin jig. I finished it up last night and gluing together my first set of fins here. I needed to record this. This is a momentous occasion for me. This has been an idea that's been rolling around in my head for 40 years. Yeah, no kidding. 40 years. I can remember being 10 years old, sitting in my mother's kitchen table, stacking up her soup cans to hold my fins in place while they glued. Now it's 40 years later, I'm stacking up my paint cans, trying to hold my fins in place while they glued. So I finally decided to go ahead and build this jig. I wanted to build it simple enough that anybody can build it. If it comes out right, I'll make another video showing you how to lay it out, how I drew it out, how to make all the cuts, and anybody can build one of these. It was very simple. Hello YouTube. This is my Rocket Fin jig. I finished it up last night and I glued together my first set of fins. It's been curing now, drying there for a good 24 hours. And I needed to film this. I needed to video this because this is a momentous occasion for me. This idea has been rolling around in my head for 40 years. I just now got around to building it. I'm serious, 40 years. I can remember being a kid, sitting at my mother's kitchen table, stacking up soup cans, trying to hold my fins in place while my glue dried. Now here it is 40 years later, and I'm in my garage stacking up my paint cans to hold my fins in place till my glue dries. So, enough of that. I had to build a jig, and that is the finished product. I'm ready to pull it out of there just to see how well it did. And hello YouTube. This is a Rocket Fin jig I've been working on. I finished it up last night, and I'm gluing together my first set of fins. It's ready to come out of the jig. Thought I'd turn the video on and film this momentous occasion. If this works correctly, it's going to put a whole lot of fun back into building rockets. Make it a lot easier. I'll go ahead and pull it out of there and see what it looks like. There's a lot of Rocket Fin jigs out there. In my opinion, none of them are real good. Some cardboard, styrofoam ones, plastic. But none of them are really doing what I wanted a Rocket Fin jig to do, which is index these fins, any fin, to any size tube, stand it up nice and straight and plumb, and square and perpendicular to the body tube. Why one of these bigger companies haven't made these for us, we can go walk in and buy one for 20 bucks at the store, I have no idea. Must not be a whole lot of profit in it. If there's any good jigs out there, I sure haven't found one. But you can always build one, right? Let's get this out of here. See what it looks like. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. That's nice. That's going to work really well. Give you a shot of that. You can see the fins are directly across from each other. They're all parallel, plumb with the rocket tube. They're all perpendicular in its perspective spot. And guess what? I didn't have to draw any pencil lines all over my rocket tube to get this done. This jig is self-indexing. You can put any size tube and any size fin in it and it'll line it up perfectly. That's nice. I'm going to I got another rocket tube sitting here ready to go. I filled in the spirals and gave it a light sanding, and the fins are ready to be glued on. All the edges are dressed. I'll make sure I put the right end down. These are short because I'm building these two rockets in sections, and I need to do a little here before I add the next section. And before I add the next section, both of these rockets will be 6 foot tall when I'm done. Get that down on there real nice, flush. The best part about this jig is it's quick. As you can see, it's not going to take a whole lot to get this set up. Make sure the body tube's down on there nice and flush. I'm just going to snug it up just a little bit. Back these off just a little bit. You're going to fall off your chair when you see how quick these 4 fins glue up. About 4 minutes. Well, 4 days, 4 minutes. I pre-glued these already before I turned on the video, just to give a chance for put a real thin bead on here just to give a chance for the glue to soak into the balsa wood a little bit. I seem to get better glue joints this way. I forgot something. I want to use this. I just made this yesterday. It's going to help me set these fins at the proper height. These fins are set all the way down to the bottom of the tube. On this rocket, I want to set them up about a ½ an inch. And I'm not drawing any pencil lines on my tube. So I made this to kind of help me index the height on these exactly what I want it. So I can just bring each rocket fin up to here and then they'll all be the same. That's good. Good to go. First one's glued up. I'll slide it right down in this slot. Bring it up so it touches that ring. That pressure there, putting it in. Make sure we glue it up a little bit. Slide that up. One. I'm pretty excited about this because this has been a long time coming. I think we've all waited long enough for somebody to come out with a good jig. I've got about $30 in this. I purposely bought everything new so I can give you an accurate amount of how much money I actually have in it. And it's right at, I didn't count it, I should have before I started the video, but it's right at 30 bucks. There's enough interest in this jig when after I've got this video posted, I will put up another video showing exactly what you need to do to make one. Get it in there close, get it in the slot, push it up against the fence, and then just bring that up there, push it on into the rocket tube. These I bought at Lowe's. They have a whole bunch of different kinds, but these are real nice. They have a real soft touch. Two. I don't think I've ever put rocket fins on a rocket any faster than what I'm doing right now. I've had a whole lot of funky setups trying to make something that will work nice. I never really did come up with anything, but I never really did put a whole lot of effort into it. It's just whatever you got on hand at the moment just to make it work. The thing I do got to be careful of is not to get any glue on the fence. If I do, I'll end up gluing the fin to the fence. Not a good thing. I'll never get it out of the jig. I don't know if you can see that real well, but I like to put enough glue on so it just starts to squeeze out. And I won't mess with it. I'm not going to take it off or clean it. The fillet will cover it up later. If I put enough on that it runs down the tube, obviously that's too much. This last one on here. If any of you guys know of any good rocket fin jigs out there, please leave it in the comments and let me know where I can get one. Not for myself, but for somebody else. I don't want to build a whole bunch of these. But I've never seen one. But I might not be looking in the right place. Last one. That's it. Wait for the glue to dry and move on with this project. If you have any interest in it, please leave it in the comments below, and if I get enough people interested in it, I'll put up another video exactly how to lay this out, exactly how I made the cuts, and exactly how I put it together. Thanks for watching.